Hey guys, so I wanted just to record a little warning before you guys watch this because I was on my bed during the time that I was recording this, and at the moment I do not have like an actual mattress, so I have an air mattress. So there's like a lot of like background noises from like my notebook and also my air mattress, which makes a lot of like weird noises because it's not fully inflated. Hey guys, so I'm making this alone in my room at 3 a.m. because my sleep schedule is all messed up. That is another story for a different time because I have a whole like rant to go about how I get my sleep schedule so mixed up and like how bad it is. Anyways, I was making this based off of a YouTuber by the name of Emily Artful. I think I'm going to be doing a sketchbook story time. So today I'm going to be talking about my dress code experiences and like how I got kicked out of school on the first day because of the dress code. And so this all happened in middle school because my high school does not have strict dress code rules at all. Like you can literally wear whatever you want probably as long as it doesn't have like curse words on it or anything. The first time that I've ever had a problem with dress code was in 6th grade, I think. Yeah, it was in 6th or 7th grade, and it was the day before The Fault in Our Stars came out. And at the time, I was a really big fan of the books, and I still really like John Green. I think he's a really good author. It was the day before the movie came out, and I was gonna go to a pre-screening. I think it was called like The Night Before Our Stars or something. And so that day, I was wearing a shirt that was from Hot Topic, and it said some quote from The Fault in Our Stars on it. I think I still have the shirt. I don't know where it is, but I think I still have it. And I was wearing a skirt underneath it that had it was like a long skirt, and it was sheer, but it had like a mini skirt underneath it that was it was around fingertip length. And I remember that I always checked for that because they would, if you got dress coded at my old school, you would literally have to change into like boys jeans or like something completely horrifically ugly. And so I did not want to do that, so I made sure to check, and it was like barely fingertip length, but it was still there. So I remember doing that. And then so the day that I went to school, I went in, and immediately the principal called me into her office. Like immediately, like, when I first got there, like, the bell had rung and we were about to go to our first class, and the principal like called me into her office, and she was like, your skirt is not appropriate for school, like you need to change right now. And I remember arguing with her for at least an hour or something, and I remember I was like really upset because I really wanted to wear that outfit. I had picked it out a while before. I thought it was really cute, and I was so excited about that night. But she called it out, and she was like, no, you have to wear something else. And my friend, who's wearing the same outfit as me, I'm not friends with her anymore, and I'm probably going to do a story time about how I'm not friends with her anymore. But I remember she was wearing the same thing, so she also got called in. So we were both called in, and we were wearing the same thing, and she did not put up a fight at all. So she was put into like boys jeans, and she went the whole day with it, got her dress back at the end of the day. And I, however, put up a fight about it, and I fought her on it for so long. I think I might have missed my first period. Because she made me miss my first period, I just want to say that it's a really dumb idea to have dress code and to make people like change because it literally takes out of your time that you could be learning. So anyways, yeah, I put up a fight about it, and she allowed me to go to class without changing because I showed her that it was fingertip length, and she was like, okay, well, if anyone sees your skirt riding up in the day, then I will have to tell you to take it off and put on some jeans or whatever. The next time that it happened was probably the next year. I remember having trouble with it every year. So it started specifically when I started like changing my hair. So I had my hair shaved for a while, like on one side, and they really started targeting me then because I looked really different from the rest of the school. So they really started hating me then. So the only time that I can remember that it happened after that was the first day of 8th grade, I believe. However, I'm gonna save that story till the end because it's a pretty good story. So the next story I'm gonna tell is in like the middle of 8th grade, I think. And I had come to school wearing some like mid-thigh shorts and a Panic at the Disco t-shirt that was like red, white, and blue or whatever. And so I went into class and I was fine throughout the day. And then I was in choir and suddenly my choir teacher got a phone call. And I remember the teacher, she came in after she got the call and she was like, Alina, like, they're calling you into the principal's office because they think your shorts aren't school appropriate, but I told them I think that they're totally school appropriate and that you should not be persecuted for this. And she was like, she totally believes that I was being like singled out because of the way I looked and because of how different I looked from the rest of it, because I live in a very like white, like privileged neighborhood, and I totally look completely different from the rest of the school. So they liked to pick on me a lot. They called my choir teacher specifically because they didn't want to face me personally, because I've been known to like fight them about the dress code, and like I'm completely following the rules. Like I do not like to break the rules because I don't like to get in trouble, because it sets off my anxiety a lot. Like I start shaking and I start like tearing up, but I'm like still fighting them. So they didn't want to call me, and so they called my choir teacher. But my choir teacher, like literally, she was the most supportive. She's such a good person. But so she like backed me up on it, and she told them like that she didn't want to send me down there and that I was completely within the dress code, and so they didn't make me like change or anything. Like they were completely fine with it. The last story I have is of the first day of 8th grade. And I came to school wearing shorts that I had literally worn the past year, and they were completely fine with it. It was past the fingertip, actually, and I felt really comfortable in those shorts, which is something, it's like, that's a completely, like, good thing for me, because I do not feel comfortable in shorts, like, ever, because it makes me feel really, like, exposed and stuff. So, I came to school that day wearing shorts, and I think that was a year that I had completely like chopped off all my hair. I think they were kind of like threatened by that or something. So they called me in there, and I remember I was like so upset because I was literally like within dress code and whatever. And so I fought with them for like an hour about it. Like I missed like first period, and it was the first day, so I wasn't able to meet my teacher and whatever. And so I fought with him about it. I told him, I was like, it's hot as hell out there, because I live in Texas. It's hot as hell in there, and you expect me to wear like long jeans or something? And he was like, first of all, you're not allowed to say hell. And I remember I was just like, I don't think hell is a curse word, it's just a place. And he's like, not in the context that you're using it. I was like, it's hot as hell, like I'm talking about a place, obviously. I fought with him for an hour about it, and he's like, since it's the first day, I can send you home, but I cannot just let you go. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I've done that before. Like, I've literally fought you guys before. You guys have let me go before. Why are you sending me home now? And so I remember I was like crying when they called my dad, and I was able to go home. But I wasn't able to meet any of the teachers or anything, and all my teachers were so confused as to why I wasn't there. But the next day they were all like, hello, it's nice to meet you. And it was a really weird experience, because that was the first time I had ever missed the first day of school. Like, that's not something that you usually miss. I wanted to thank everyone that like supported me throughout that time, because no one really wanted to support me, because I didn't look like the carbon cut like copy of the typical white girl. I looked pretty like unique, I guess. I don't want to be like edgy or anything, but like I was different. And I cried like in front of them while I was still fighting them, because I knew I had to stand up for other girls. And I remember crying that night and that day because I was gonna have to just deal with it and move on. And the next day I still went there and I showed them, they let me show them how my shorts were completely within school dress code and how it met fingertip length. Like, we literally printed out the handbook and said, like, hey, this meets the requirements, but they still ignored it. And I feel kind of bad because I never was able to change the dress code or anything because I eventually had to go to high school, and high school doesn't have harsh dress code, but I never got to help the girls or anyone in the middle school, and I still feel bad about that, kind of. Thank you guys for watching, and give this video a thumbs up if you believe that dress codes are demeaning to women. Thank you all, and goodbye.